time for the monthly challenge. So yes, welcome to the old but new monthly challenge. Today is the results day, and you lot have outdone yourselves. There's been quite a few entries. It's going to take us a little while to go through them, but I can assure you it is worth it, I promise. Yeah, this is going to be done a little bit differently. We're going to be doing this one with me sat right here with my trusty iPad. And we're going to do it this way. You will see exactly what I'm seeing on screen, don't you worry. And we're doing it through Lightroom and doing all the little things that I would have done differently, just to show you, through Lightroom on the iPad. So it's almost like a little bit of a what do you want to call it? Tutorial, let's say, on how to use Lightroom iPad as well. And there are other tablets out there, of course, but I've got an iPad. So the subject slash topic slash whatever theme, topic, subject, I ain't got a clue. I still don't know what the word is for it. Yeah, it was bokeh. So what is bokeh? Bokeh is the out of focus part of the background behind the subject that the lens actually creates. So say you've got an f1.4, 1.8, f2, 2.8 lens, those are usually your best bets on getting great bokeh behind. It can either be with light or it actually just with no light. Well, it kind of blurs the light, but you know, if you have, you know what I'm on about, if there's sun behind there, the bokeh in that sun would look incredible. Say for instance you had fairy lights as well or something like that. That's where you get that bokeh. Now it doesn't have to always have light, it can be literally just a bunch of trees, but you would see the bokeh still. It would almost be like swirls in the background, and that's all created via the lens. Let's get into these, just so you can see what I'm seeing and all the edits that I'm doing. Now bear in mind, I am using a fat sausage finger and an iPad mini. Now it literally, yeah. Let's see how this goes. But anyway, let's dig into this. These are in no particular order at all. They are just how they are imported into Lightroom, and we will go from there. So our first one is by Caitlin Barr. I love this, I really do. Few changes I would make. The bokeh is amazing, really, really nice. The only thing I would change is maybe, now don't be offended if I look at an image and probably put my own little tweak on it. I'm just here to help. I love the image, but yes, just as a first off for everyone that I'm going to go through, if there's little tweaks that I would do, I would just probably mention it, and I'll probably do it on the app. The only things that I would do to this, now the first thing I would have said, I would love to have seen, is I would love to have seen more of the dog down here. Definitely down the right hand side. I would love to have seen the whole dog there, and maybe more of this log. Other than that, fantastic, great focusing on the eye. The fur is gorgeous in this, and the bokeh in the background, what we were going for, is looking superb. Now let me show you what I would have done a little bit differently. I'm going to grab myself a little mask. I'm going to grab the select subject mask. Now all I'm going to do is actually bring the dog up a little bit, ever so slightly. Now remember, I'm using an iPad mini here, so you could probably just see what I'm doing, but I've got fat fingers and it's a little bit difficult for me. So I would bring out the dog a little bit more from that background. I would then add a little bit more texture to the fur, just a little bit, not too much. A little bit of clarity, because the lights and darks between them those fur lines and all the hair is fantastic. I really want to punch in on that. So ever so slightly, a little bit of clarity, not too much, just a little bit. And then probably a bit too much clarity there. I can't see because I've got fat fingers. We'll go about there, no, a bit less. Okay, and then a little tiny amount of dehaze on there. So if we just hold our finger down on the app, we can see the difference straight away. That's really bringing the dog out from that background. Rather than it being flat against the background, I've really made the dog pop and punch out. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to make that background actually a little bit lighter and add a bit more colour to it. Because that light behind, I can see this, correct me if I'm wrong, this was shot probably around sunset-ish, or maybe sunrise, but the sunset-ish I'm looking at, and there's a bit of sunlight coming through at the background there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my finger down on this, this mask, and I'm going to actually duplicate and invert the mask. So you can see in red where we've got the mask. I'm going to go back to light, and I'm going to up the highlights just a touch. A tiny bit more contrast. Whites are going to come up. And we're going to go to colour, we're going to add a little bit of saturation, just a little bit. We're going to go with our temperature over towards more of a yellowy, about there. And temperature and tint, especially on the iPads, are hefty. As soon as you up them up a little bit, that's it, they just go. Texture on the background, we're going to bring down, just so we can really punch in on that bokeh. Clarity, we're going to bring down again. And dehaze we're just going to bring down as well, just to bring it out a bit. Let's have a look, so we can hold our finger down on the app and have a look at the before and after. So we can see there, that's the before and that's the after. A little bit more punchier, dog really stands out from the background there. But yeah, love this image, love the bokeh in the background, lovely shot all in all. Just wanted to see a bit more of that dog on that right hand side and probably a tiny bit more log underneath. Other than that, great image, well done, absolutely love it. Let's go to our next image. And this was shot by Kelly Mitchell. I've no idea how you've done that. Unbelievable, well done. You must have been either freezing, knackered, waiting for ages for that shot. I haven't a clue. But well done. Now I know that is difficult, and I know it's hard to get you focusing, especially at night, on a moving object like an owl, which you can hardly see at night or even hear. So well done on that one. Now I think you were going for a bit of bokeh. You uploaded this, obviously the results were, the topic was bokeh. So I think you may have gone with the lights in the background there to be as the topic bokeh. Yes, well done. Yeah, they certainly are. I would have probably liked to have seen a little bit more bokeh in that, but other than that, well done on this image, really good. I'm going to put my little tweak on it, as I do. So I'm going to chuck another little mask on the subject. Now I don't think it's, no, I didn't think so. It's not going to select it as well as I thought. So we're actually going to do a minus, we're going to subtract from the mask. I'm going to use a brush. So let's go with that as a rough idea. It's rough. It's an iPad. This isn't, by the way, no way is this sponsored by Apple. Wish it was, but it's not. Don't worry. So let's go with that mask. So all I'm going to do, I really want to pull the bird out a little bit more. Pop the highlights down a touch and shadows up just a touch. And we're going to bring the whites up just a little bit as well. Let's go over to the effects tab. Texture we're actually going to bring down. Clarity is going to go up, which will really make those lines pop. And we'll chuck a bit of dehaze on there as well. Not too much, just a little bit. And clarity is actually going to come down a touch. So let's have a look at the before and afters quickly. So there we can see the owl really has popped out of that image now. I would be happy with that. Fantastic shot, really well done on that one. I don't think I would know, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. But yes, very, very well done. Let's go to our next shot. So our next shot was done by Julie Clark. Well done, Julie. Love this. Absolutely love it. Great dynamic pose as well by the dog, and the bokeh in the background is perfect. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. Now just be careful not to flatten the highlights too much in the background. Then the whole image becomes a little bit flat. So I would actually, let's chuck a mask on there. I just love the dog's pose in this, really do. So let's just select the subject, and we're just going to hold our finger down on, not that one, I'm going to hold our finger down on the mask, and we're going to duplicate and invert. And all we're going to do is just bring the highlights back up a little bit, just to make it glow a bit more. We can even go to colour, add a bit more saturation into that. I love that colour in the background, really, really nice. Let's add a little bit of temperature, not too much. See what I mean? You can go wild. As soon as you go too much, whoop. So I've got fat fingers on a little iPad, it's not good. So let's go to about +3. Just hold your finger down, just to have a look what you've done differently. See, I love that. See how it's brought out, it's made it a bit more dynamic range. So you've got those highlights in the background, not too flat now, they really pop. I'm just going to chuck a mask on the dog actually as well. So you do another, let's select subject, we go to light, and we're just going to bring that dog out just a tiny bit, not too much. Bring those shadows just a touch, not too much. Don't want to ruin the shot, because I love this. Tiny bit of dehaze, tiny bit. Tiny bit of clarity, a tiny bit of texture. Fantastic, look at that, really, really well shot. Let's have a look at this now. So if we go before and after, fantastic. Really, really well shot. I love that, really nice, very, very well done. The bokeh is beautiful in the background as well, look at all that. Really nice and soft, nice and circular as well. Great lens you've used there. Well done. I would be very, very proud of that one. Well done. Let's go to our next shot. So our next entrant is Georgie Willis. I know where this was shot, definitely in the lavender fields at Cotswolds. Costco. It's almost like Costco, Cotswolds. No, Cotswolds. Get my teeth in. Yeah, lovely shot, lovely bokeh, and I know all about this place. You can get such great bokeh. It can be foreground and background. Probably should have said that at the start what bokeh is, but anyway, usually it's background, but the foreground you can get some really nice bokeh as well, and especially if you have something in front like some flowers or leaves or tree branches or anything like that. It makes for really good bokeh in the foreground as well. So really well shot. The only thing I can see, two things is the only thing I can see really. I'd look out for your artifacts happening in the background here. That's when your image starts breaking up. It's probably when you've done your HSL and you've boosted them colours up in the lavender. It usually breaks up the images a little bit, so just look out for that in the background there. And one other thing I probably would have done is maybe covered up this bit here. Just put the lavender in there. It makes for a much easier on the eye image, more appealing, let's say. So I'm actually going to try that in Lightroom. Because of the new edits, you can use the erase tool, which is now also a clone stamp tool and everything. You can. I'll just show you, much easier. So we do on the edge here, we go to healing and we select clone. All I'm going to do is brush along where I think there should be the healed, and then it thinks where it thinks it should be, if that makes sense. Thinks it, yep. I'm going to go just there, and I'm actually going to feather this all the way, and I'm going to click done. Now, how easy was that? Come on, that was with Lightroom Mobile on an iPad. I keep saying iPad. It is an iPad, but I keep saying it's not an iPad. It's an iPad. I should have this. Yeah. Anyway, but look how easy that was. All we're going to do is hold the finger down, and we can see the difference straight away. It's a lot more appealing to the eye, I think, anyway, and a lot easier on the eye. Your eyes focus straight in on the dog, rather than down below, you're thinking, oh, what's happening? It's actually standing up. I think you get that anyway from that image. Really great shot, and plus it adds a bit more foreground bokeh right there for you. So really nicely shot, well done. I'd be really chuffed with that one. So yeah, very well done. Let's go on to the next shot. So our next shot is by Grace Lou. Lou, I'm sorry, hopefully I got that right. Grace Lou. Wow. Yeah, when I was saying bokeh and light and everything, wow. That is the definition of bokeh right there. Look at that. Wow, wow, wow. Well done. Look at all those. Oh. That is what you call bokeh right there. That is excellent. Really well done. Really chuffed with that one. The only thing I would have done, one thing, is maybe again grab that clone healing tool and I'll just change this bit just down here, just to grab a bit more of that bokeh, feather it in. It doesn't have to be much, just feather it in. Opacity can even come down a little bit if it needs. Click done. Just that. That's all you needed. Because that was really annoying the eye, well my eye anyway, just that little patch that was missing, because on the rest, on the right hand side, you've got all the bokeh all the way down to the grass. So our next shot is done by Samantha Manley. Lovely shot. Very nice bokeh in the background there with the light coming through the trees. It's always nice to see on a shot. The only thing I would say is maybe, I don't know whether it's the shot itself or so. I mean, yes, you're getting the bokeh in the background, but maybe I'd have brought yourself around a little bit, round to the dog, the front of the dog a little bit more. I think the pose itself, I mean, that tree in the background, this all works, it's great, it's a lovely shot, and hopefully the client loved it, because I know it's a lovely shot right there. I'd have brought yourself around a little bit more, centre the subject up a little bit. I'm looking all a bit lost here, because we've got this tree here on the left-hand side, and we've got nothing here on the right-hand side. So maybe I'd have just done something a little bit different with the editing. Either, well, it's a bit difficult removing that tree because of the dog, or I've added a little bit more on the other side, maybe a bit more of a tree on the other side, or brought yourself round a bit more to either to the left or the right, and also position the dog a little bit differently. The other thing I would watch out for is your colours in the dog. We are edging over towards more of a yellowy reddy type hue on the dog's fur, on the front of it and on the side. So let's see if we can grab our, wrong one. We're just going to grab the HSL, which is actually for some reason called Colour Mix on Lightroom Mobile. No idea why they need to call it HSL. I'm just going to grab our little picker, and we're going to go with saturation, and we're going to just pick just on our dog here, which has picked up the oranges and the yellows. I'm just going to bring them down a little bit. Yes, we can mask it properly. We can't, unfortunately, in Lightroom Mobile to do the colour mixing part, which is a bit annoying. But I'll just bring them down a little bit, just a touch in the saturation. So we can just have a look at the before and after. Let's have a look. So just look at before and afters, and just ever so slightly brought them colours down in the dog, which has made it a little bit more eye appealing and more normal. The problem is obviously with Lightroom Mobile we can't mask out, so we have also taken the colours out from the background there, but this is Lightroom Mobile, so yeah, hopefully they'll add that part soon, who knows. But very well done. The bokeh is lovely in that. I do like that. The bokeh, yeah, is perfect. Very, very nice. I'd be proud of that one. Hopefully the client, again, was proud of that one too. Let's go to our next shot. So our next submission is from Anna Plajek. Hopefully I said that right this time again. But yeah, let me know. I think it's Plajek. Plajek. Anyway, try saying my name. It's, yeah, same thing. I get it all the time. Now, this shot I love. Very, very sharp. Really sharp. I think maybe just bring down the textures a little bit in the fur. We're just edging that again. We're edging too far into textures and we're edging too far into too much sharpness. But from that sort of point of view, from just a normal 100%, you know, fit to zoom, is great. Really nice. I love this bokeh you've managed to capture in the snow falling. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, really, really like this. Again, I wouldn't really do much with this other than maybe bring the eyes out a little bit, or the subject itself. I'm going to try something a little bit different here. I'm going to add a mask. I've never done this before in my life, so this is a first time for you all. I'm just going to bring out the eyes just a touch. We're going to put one there, and we're going to pop one, if we can. It's not going to let us. Is it going to let us? Plus, no. And we're just going to add another radial onto the other eye, just there. So now we go to light, and we're going to add, I think, a bit more in the highlights. We're going to bring the whites up as well. Let's go to effects, and we're going to bring the clarity up ever so slightly. That'll bring the blacks out against the whites a little bit, and a tiny bit of dehaze as well. Now we could even go to colour and add a little bit of saturation. Now remember, this is completely different editing to what we would do on Lightroom desktop or in Photoshop. Let's have a look at the difference there already. Let's zoom in a little bit. And let's hold our finger down to look at the before and afters. There, it's just added that tiny bit of clarity in the eyes to make them pop against the fur and the white in the whole image. Love this. The bokeh is lovely. What you could have even done, and I wouldn't even known, would have been you could have probably put an overlay on the back of that and added even more snow bokeh, or more snow in the background there, just falling. I wouldn't have known. The whole image is great. It's snowy. It makes me actually giggle. I love it. Super shot. Well done. Carry on, because your images are getting a hell of a lot better from, again, same as Jamie's from last year. Hell of a lot better, I can see already. Well done. Very, very well done. Let's go to our next image. So our next submission is by Holly Jane Howell. Look, again, bokeh, you've nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I love this light hitting the front of this dog. Now, that I'm guessing is natural light, natural sunlight. You've even focused very nicely on the eye there. The eye is popping beautifully out. Not, you know, metaphorically, let's say, it's popping, not out, but it's popping. The only thing I would have said, I would love to see more of that dog. Push over to the left a bit more. You're cutting off this paw here on the left-hand side. I would love to have seen more there. Again, bokeh in the background, fantastic. Nailed the brief. Really, really like that. Yeah, I wouldn't really do much more with this. Again, maybe you could even make the dog just pop a little bit more with those shadows. Bring them out. So let's just do a quick mask on here. Select subject. We'll go to light, and we'll just bring them shadows up a tiny bit. It says a tiny bit. Just make them pop a little bit. We're going to go again down to effects, and we're going to go with dehaze up, just so it makes them colours pop again a bit more. Let's have a look at that straight away. Look at that. Makes that sunlight that is hitting the front of that dog pop that a little bit more, and I think that's great. Really nice shot. Again, all I would have said is I would have loved to have seen maybe come out a little bit wider on your lens. I don't exactly know what you were shooting at, but just come out a little bit wider, or move over to the left, or bring yourself back a bit. Other than that, great shot. Really happy with that. And the bokeh is beautiful in the background. Very, very nicely done. Well done on that one. Let's go to our next submission. Now, our next submission is Carolina Culpa. Carolina, you did submit 2 and I only accept one, so I actually picked my favourite out of it. This was my favourite. I know the other one was of a horse and an owner possibly with it. Lovely shots, very nicely done, but this was my favourite out of them both. Yeah, I adore this. Really, really nice. I hope the client really purchased this image and printed it out and, you know, got it on the wall, because it is a beautiful image. Very nice and sharp on the dog. The only thing I would watch out for is your masking. Watch out you're not getting any haloing around the dog. All I would do then is just maybe if you're masking, just feather in with a brush. If you're doing it in Photoshop, feather in with a white brush just to remove some of that haloing. Doesn't matter if you go a little bit into the fur, that's fine, it makes it a little bit more natural anyway. Love this shot. Great bokeh in the background. If I was in Photoshop right now, what I would have probably done personally is actually selected that. I mean, I'm going to try it on here. I've never tried it. Let's go to add a mask. Let's do a brush mask. We're going to feather this mask nice and quite a bit. I'm just going to add the brush size up as well. Probably a bit too much feathering there. Let's go with that. And we're just going to brush in around the dog. Just that background where the bokeh starts and ends, let's say. Grab the colour. I'm just going to grab that hue up a little bit, just over into the yellows a bit more, just to push it. I'm going to grab some of that clarity, bring it down, dehaze up. That's not really working because this is Lightroom Mobile. Texture down. Let's have a look what else we can do here. And bring the highlights down just a touch, just a little bit. Whites down a little bit. There's not much more I can do. Saturation we can bring just up a touch. Temperature bring up. Let's have a look at that. So let's press done. Let's look at this image. So that's beautiful right there. So instead of it being a bit of a colder image, we've actually brought that sunlight in the background there and brought the colours up a bit more. Makes the dog stand out from the background a bit more, because if we look at the before, it kind of blended in, the fur blended in with that background. So all we've done is brought that background out a bit more. Now in Photoshop, what I really would have done is probably, again, masked out the dog completely and really made like a sunbeam almost coming through from the back, just like a big radial going straight through. That's what I would have done. Hit me up if you want me to have a look at that with you. Absolutely more than happy to have a look at that with you and show you. I love this image, great bokeh. It's a shame there's not a few more trees with a few more holes through, like at the top here. That's a very big shame, not your fault at all. You did nothing wrong there. Bokeh's lovely, and the whole background. I mean, this is classed as bokeh anyway as well. All of this back here, that's generally what people look for, is the light holes and the little dots everywhere created by the lens. But this is all bokeh. It's usually just the out of focus part of an image is what bokeh is. I would be chuffed with that. Very, very well done. Carry on, please carry on the great work there. Super. Can't wait to see your next submission. And our final submission was by Steph Ravenagard. Excuse me if I've said that completely wrong. I do not mean it. I'm not very good with double-barreled names. But Steph, this made me giggle a lot. Absolutely fantastic. Everything about it. Everything about it I absolutely love. The dog is like, yeah, just the dog's expression of yawning, I'm bored, mum, what the hell are you doing? The bokeh in the brief, nailed it, well done there. And yeah, the whole tractor, everything about this image, I just love, absolutely love. Again, the background, all I'm going to do is bring up the highlights. You've kind of gone a bit flat in the back, and maybe also clarity and texture, bring down, soften them off a bit more, so the dog stands out a bit. Yes, unfortunately the focus point wasn't on the dog's face, but I mean, you had to be quick with this. You could not mess about. I'm guessing you focused somewhere on the dog's body down here, on the chest, but super shot, super shot. So let me just chuck a little mask on there. Let's go to select subject with a mask, and I'm going to hold my finger down, and now I'm going to duplicate and invert, because I'm actually going to dupe it to the dog as well. So I'm going to duplicate, invert, So one thing I'm actually going to do is, because obviously I've done select subject and then I've inverted it, which means it's also select the tractor. So what I'm going to do is actually do a minus, and we're going to subtract with a brush, and I'm going to change my feathering again down a little bit, and I'm just going to remove the tractor at this foreground from my selection, and maybe possibly, to be fair, makes it a bit easier and quicker, I'd remove the fence at the back there. So we're only selecting this sort of sky area, let's say. So we're going to up the highlights just a little bit, not too much. Contrast, we're going to bring down a touch. We're going to go over to effects, we're going to bring texture, and we're going to bring clarity down. We're going to add some haze to it. Let's go back to light. You're always tweaking on this, which is funny. Always tweaking. Once you do one thing, you need to do next. So I'm actually going to add the contrast back in. Let's go to colour. We're going to add some saturation back as well. Maybe the temperature we're going to hit up just a touch, not too much, because you can always go overdo it. Let's have a look at that now. If we just come out a bit, should do before and after. That already makes the subject pop. So then we go back to our masks, and we're going to go back to our subject selected mask. We're going to go to light. We're going to add shadows up a touch and highlights just a tiny amount. And obviously this is different on here. On Lightroom Mobile, it's going to be much easier using Lightroom on the desktop or Photoshop. So we're going to add a tiny bit of texture. We're going to add a tiny bit of clarity. Dehaze, tiny amount, not even that, not even that. Go back to light, because the dehaze adds, and clarity adds a bit more sort of that. It's like contrast almost. It gives it really that punch between the whites and the blacks. So let's go and add tiny amount of exposure. Now let's have a look at this as a whole. So that's before and there's after. I love that myself. I really like that. Bokeh is beautiful, definitely very, very nice. Hit the brief nicely. I love this image as a whole. Fantastic. I don't know if it's your own dog or if it's a client's dog, but hopefully whoever's dog it is happy with this image. I know I would be. It really, really, yeah, shows a good characteristic of the dog, let's say. Or, yeah, it really tells a story. I love it. Absolutely love it. So that is it for our monthly challenge this month. Last month, March. Yeah, this month's already out, and you already know what that is. But I've got to announce a winner. So how this is going to be done now? So I'm going to announce a winner now. They are actually going to choose next month's winner. No, they are actually going to choose next month's subject, topic, genre. I still don't know what the word is. Someone comment on this and just tell me what the word I'm looking for is. I know someone's told me before and I couldn't remember what the word is. Topic, genre, subject. I don't know. Anyway, the winner now going forward. So I've already told you what the new one is. The new one is leading lines, and that is for April. Now for May, the winner of March is going to choose May's. Does that make sense? And then going forward, each winner of each month is going to choose the new topic for that month. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, so to be honest, without further ado, it's a difficult one. I have 2 in mind. 3 in mind. Yeah. I have 3 in mind. Oh dear. So yeah, the winner for me, I didn't have to do any editing to it. And the bokeh is beautiful in it. The capture itself, the dog, is beautiful. The whole thing about it I love. Really, really like this image. And that is you, Jamie Sterling. Well done. Congratulations on winning March monthly challenge. Yeah, so I will be in touch. You will choose, nearer the time anyway, I will get in touch. You will choose May's topic, subject, genre, whichever it is. Someone tell me. Oh, this is awful. But yes, great image, well done. And everyone, do you know what? It was tricky. There was 3 that I absolutely loved in this. I'm still flicking through them now, thinking have I chosen the right, but I have. I know I have. Everyone's nailed the brief of bokeh. Brief? Is that the word? Is that the word? I've no idea. But yes, well done. Everyone's nailed it. Keep up the great work. Hopefully I've helped with this, just a little bit of tuition that I've given on each image, and hopefully I haven't bored you all. But yeah, fantastic. I cannot wait to see the rest of the images for leading lines. I'm really, really excited, especially for what's come this month. It's fantastic. So yeah, guys, thank you. And just remember to invite all your friends to the Petography Masters, even if they're beginners, professionals or hobbyists. Invite them. You know it's a safe place. You know it's a great place for everyone to enjoy themselves. So anyway, without further ado, guys, enjoy the rest of your month. Cannot wait to see the rest of your work. And yeah, see you at the next one.